Hello, we are in Shining Star Introduction, Unit 3, and Unit 3 is called Play Ball. The first selection, Selection 1, is called The Bouncing Ball, and it's about the history of the ball. And the second selection is about a famous athlete named Roberto Clemente. Ball games are part of our history. The bouncing ball tells how the rubber ball came to us a long time ago. Roberto Clemente is the story of a great player of one of America's favorite ball games, baseball. Clemente was a hero in other ways too. And if we look at the pictures, there's an Olmec statue of someone playing a sport game. And this is what the sports arena looked like. And there's Roberto Clemente. Now before we read the bouncing ball is nonfiction. Nonfiction means that it's not fake. Nonfiction, which is another way of saying it's real. And it's informational. Informational. So nonfiction is real and it's informational. It gives you facts about the history of the rubber ball. So we have the Aztecs and the Mayans. Okay, so the Aztecs in Mexico, the Mayans, I don't know, Central America, let's see. And look at this ancient picture. Okay, what do you think the man in the picture is doing? So there's the ball. What is he doing? Maybe he's hitting the ball, or I wonder if he'll be kicking it. I think he's hitting it because his hands are wrapped up. That's interesting. I wonder what that says. Where do you think he lived? Yes, he probably lived in Central America. Okay, so vocabulary, a few words here. Say them after me. Artifact, artifact. Bounce, bounce. Explorers, explorers. Rubber, rubber. Statue, statue. So look at the pictures and the captions. They will help you learn the words in the box. These words. Write the meaning of each word. You can also check it on Google Translate. Okay, so the statue of a Maya ball player is an artifact. An artifact is an object made by people. We learn about ancient peoples from the artifacts they leave behind. Read it with me. This statue of a Maya ball player is an artifact. An artifact is an object made by people. We learn about ancient peoples from the artifacts they leave behind. So that's a tree. And you see this fluid coming out of the tree, like water, draining into a bucket. Rubber comes from the liquid inside rubber trees. Most balls made of rubber can bounce up and down. Rubber comes from the liquid, the water, the liquid, inside rubber trees. Most balls made of rubber can bounce up and down. Okay, and the last one. Spanish explorers traveled to the Americas in the 1500s. There they met the Aztec and Maya peoples. Spanish explorers traveled to the Americas in the 1500s. There they met the Aztec and Maya peoples. So what do those words mean? You can also practice, you should also practice these words on Quizlet. So here's our reading strategy. Asking questions. Ask questions as you read to check what you know and what you don't know. For example, ask yourself, what ideas or words don't I understand? Write down words or ideas you don't understand. And we talked about annotating and putting a question mark when you can annotate the text. Reread the text and look for the meanings of these words or ideas. See if there are any clues. And I'm going to try that again. See if there are any clues. Yeah, that looks a little better. You can also use a dictionary. Of course, you're more likely to use Google Translate, but I do have dictionaries in the back of the room, or you can ask your teacher or a classmate for help if you need it. So ask questions. And quickly, question words. Who? Why? What? When? Where? And how? Okay, so those are the basic question words in English. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay, before we read, we are going to preview. We're going to preview the text features. We're going to look for clues. What is this about? What will I learn? Thinking ahead of some questions as we go. So as we look at the text, what do we see? Well, I see the title, The Bouncing Ball. I see that it says social studies, which is another way to say history. So this is going to teach me something about history. And this looks like a long time ago. Oh, and I see where. The Olmecs and San Lorenzo, the end of Mexico. Okay. It says players tried to bounce a rubber ball through a stone ring. Well, that's interesting. Oh, look, pyramids. See the pyramids? A Maya ball player. So where did the new ball come from? Okay, see an ancient rubber ball, a rubber tree. Who were the Olmecs? Sap. Oh, okay. Liquid inside trees. Okay. Ruins. Remains of buildings where people lived long ago. Okay, interesting. What parts of a car are made of rubber? I know the answer to that. The tires, of course. Tires are made out of rubber. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the next page. Okay, I see, what were these ball games like? And I see another statue. It says a statue of a Maya ball player wearing yoke around waist. Well, that's the waist, so this must be a yoke. It looks like a duck. What? And pads on knees for protection. So kind of reminds me of a goalie. Interesting. Okay, and I see a picture of an ancient ball court in Mexico with stone rings high on the walls. Ooh, very interesting. It says, is the ball game that the Mayas and Aztecs played like any game you know? And do you ever wear pads when you play a sport? Yes. Let's see. What's on the other page? How are our ball games like theirs? So here's some pictures of like a modern soccer game, a modern volleyball game, and a modern basketball game. And here we see some bullets that show us some examples of other ball games that might be similar. Interesting. So what is your favorite sport? Why do you like it? Does that sport use a bouncing ball? Explain. Okay, so I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to read about. Do you? Great. Now you can open up the audio in Schoology. So in Schoology, open up Shining Star Intro, Unit 3. Okay, and you see here the audio for Unit 3. So open that up. And it's not labeled, but it should be the very first one. Okay, so listen and read along 3 times, and then please take the quiz.
Unit 3, Play Ball, page 82.